Imagine this. You send her a message, you wait, you stare at your phone, and the hours pass by with no reply. Your mind starts racing. Did you say something wrong? Did she lose interest? Did she find someone else? You feel the pressure rising in your chest. The urge to react, to fix it, to chase, to explain yourself. And that's exactly the moment when most men ruin everything, because when she ignores you, your reaction will decide if you rise in her eyes or if you completely destroy the attraction she once felt for you. The truth is, silence is not always rejection. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's her pulling back to see how you'll respond. Sometimes it's just life, distractions, or priorities shifting. But your mind doesn't want to hear that. Your ego tells you, do something now, prove your worth, make her notice you. And that's where the danger lies, because what you do in this space of silence will determine if you look like a strong, composed man who values himself or if you look like a desperate boy who can't handle uncertainty. Let's break this down. The first mistake most guys make when ignored is they start chasing harder. They double text. They blow up her phone with calls. They send long paragraphs explaining their feelings or demanding answers. And you know what that communicates? It tells her you're terrified of losing her, that you put her on a pedestal, and that her attention is worth more than your dignity. The more you chase, the more she pulls back, because your energy screams insecurity. Think of it like this. A lion doesn't beg for food. It hunts with confidence, or it waits with patience. But when you beg, you become the prey, not the prize. The second mistake is overthinking and self-sabotage. You start reading into every detail: when she was last online, who she's following, whether she viewed your story. And all this energy isn't just wasted, it's damaging, because the more you obsess, the more desperate you feel, and the more likely you are to act impulsively. She doesn't even have to reject you. You reject yourself by spiraling into doubt. Confidence isn't built on constant analysis. It's built on certainty in who you are, even when things feel uncertain around you. The third mistake is trying to guilt trip her or force a reaction. Maybe you send something like, "I guess you don't care anymore," or "Wow, you're really ignoring me." That doesn't spark attraction. It sparks annoyance. It paints you as someone who seeks validation instead of someone who commands respect. A man who values himself never needs to beg for attention. He creates a life so magnetic that people want to be part of it. When you try to manipulate her emotions just to get a response, you're showing weakness, and weakness is never attractive. The fourth mistake is losing your frame. Frame is your mental state, your energy, the vibe you carry. When she ignores you, many men crumble. They let her behavior dictate their mood. Suddenly, you're sad, angry, distracted at work, losing focus on your goals. But here's the reality: your frame is your kingdom. If you let someone else control it, you've already lost. When she ignores you, the strongest move is to stay solid, to remain centered, to keep moving forward in your life, because whether she comes back or not, your kingdom doesn't collapse. The fifth and final mistake is forgetting your value. Ignoring can sometimes be intentional, sometimes unintentional, but no matter what, you must never forget your worth. Too many men make the mistake of equating her silence with their inadequacy. They think, if she doesn't respond, it must mean I'm not good enough. Wrong. Your value is not determined by her attention. Your value is in your purpose, your character, your discipline, your energy. When you forget that, you hand over your power, and the moment you hand over your power, you stop being the man she was attracted to in the first place. Now let's flip the perspective. What should you actually do when she ignores you? The answer isn't to retaliate. It's not to sulk. It's not to play games. The answer is to hold your ground, to lean back instead of leaning forward, to continue living with strength, focus, and passion, because the man who thrives in her silence is the man she eventually wants to chase. It's not about ignoring her back. It's about showing that your world doesn't stop because she pressed pause. Think about the most attractive men you've ever known or seen. Are they constantly glued to their phones, waiting for someone's reply? Or are they busy chasing their goals, mastering their craft, leading their lives with purpose? That's the kind of man women respect and admire. The man who doesn't collapse under silence, but uses it as fuel to grow even stronger. When you choose not to make these mistakes, something powerful happens. Instead of looking desperate, you look composed. Instead of losing respect, you gain it. Instead of begging for validation, you radiate value, and whether she returns or not, you win, because you never lost yourself in the process. This isn't just about dating, it's about life. Every day people will ignore you, doubt you, test you. The world will not always give you the validation you crave, but the question is, will you break, or will you stand tall? Will you let silence define you, or will you define yourself through it? So the next time she ignores you, remember this: don't chase harder, don't overthink, don't guilt trip, don't lose your frame, and don't forget your value, because the man who avoids these mistakes is the man who wins, not just in love, but in life. And if you feel the urge rising inside you to break these rules, pause, take a breath, remind yourself of who you are and what you stand for. Channel that energy back into your purpose, your fitness, your growth, your goals. Show yourself that your life is bigger than one person's attention. Because here's the truth: women are drawn to men who don't need them, but choose them. They want to be part of a life that's already rich, exciting, and full of purpose. If you crumble every time she ignores you, you show her that your world revolves around her. But if you remain unshaken, you show her that you are the prize, the man she should respect, admire, and pursue. So stand tall, don't make these mistakes, and let her silence be the stage where your strength speaks louder than any words ever could.